This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so just a recap of what we learned yesterday. So we saw the difference between what is functional testing, what is non-functional testing yesterday, and why performance testing is required, and what tools are available in the market for performance testing, and the difference between the JMeter and the LR tool, and the LoadRunner architecture, the ViewGen controller analysis and load generator details. And we had a walkthrough of a quick walkthrough of this application, like how we record, how we execute, where we will go and execute and see the test results. All these details we have seen yesterday. Okay, and the course content, what are the topics we are going to cover in this session. So all these details we have seen. So I couldn't able to show you about AppDynamics yesterday because of this application issue, so I'll just show you now. So this is how the AppDynamics looks like. So whatever a test that we ran, right, I filtered here, like last one day I filtered. So if you see here around 8:30, 8:15 a.m., right, we made a recording, we executed the iterations in virtual user generator, and we ran the test, right? So few transactions were made. So those details, you can see the graph here, right? So those details you can monitor. So so one call is made to the two backend services, and one call is made to the DB details. And this now I triggered few transactions, so it is showing some transaction was made at this time. Okay, and then if you go to the business transactions here, you can see the name, whatever we have done, right? That admin login, add a library and view library and log out, everything you can see it here. So the transaction details you can see, and if there is any slowness, any errors, you can see it here. And it's just a preview of what we are going to learn in the upcoming session. Okay, so we will see everything in detail. So as a beginner in performance testing, and as an intermediate level, you just need to know like where you can go and monitor the error details, and we usually get the metrics from here, like CPU utilization, memory utilization details. You will see it here. Okay, so when you go to the memory here, right, you can see the utilization graphs, everything you can see it here. Okay, you just need to take you just need it can be any monitoring tool like AppDynamics, Dynatrace, everything like a login details, access, everything the customer or the project team are going to provide you. You just need to know how to navigate a few stuff, and how to pick the correct details, how to filter the timing of the test. So these details is a basic thing. So if you learn one monitoring tool, how it looks like, what to do with the monitoring tool, it is easy for you to work with any other monitoring tool as well. Okay. So that's all about AppDynamics, and we will proceed with today's session. So today's agenda, right? We will see different types of testing in performance, okay, and followed by a LoadRunner installation. I will show you where you need to go and how you need to install it. Okay, so yeah. So different type of testing, okay, load testing, stress testing, endurance testing, spike, volume, and there are a couple of more other testing like failover testing, smoke testing, and also we will see everything one by one in detail here. Okay, so before that, I'll give you an example. Okay, if you see Disney Hotstar, like during normal days, okay, consider like how many users they will be using the application, say like 50,000 people, just an example. Okay, so from performance team point of view. Okay, so if they are coming to us for the performance testing, so we need to ensure that All-Star is performing well for this expected 50,000 users without any issues. So that is a minimal thing that the All-Star has to perform, right? So the test will be performed for an hour with expected load, which is 50,000 users a year, and observe the application performance. Okay, if it is performing well or not, or if it is facing any issues or any app crashes happening. So all these observations will be monitored. Okay, so I'll say here. So load test, different types of test is load test, stress test, endurance test, scalability test, uh, spike test, volume test, failover test, and smoke test. Okay, so you can ask me like, is all these tests has to be performed or not, or is there any mandatory test has to be performed? So, if any applications come for performance testing, we do these three testing mandatorily. Okay, just load test, stress test, and endurance test. So all other, and the smoke test also we will do. And this one, right, these four, scalability, spike, volume, failover test, if the customer specifically ask you, or if they come up with the issue like, this is the issue happening and we need to test, and we can suggest accordingly. Okay, so we will see one by one in detail. So as I told you, load test, testing the application for an hour with the expected load. Okay, and who will give you the load, right? So the load details will be provided by, the load is nothing in the sense, the number of users who are going to use the application. Okay, so the customer or the product owner or architect, anyone from the project team can able to suggest the number of users they are expecting. Okay, or on the higher level performance engineering point of view, they can also monitor the production. Okay, through Dynatrace, through the monitoring tool Dynatrace, and they can pick the number of users that is currently in the production. Okay, so either way they can, we can also involve in the but not in the intermediate and the beginner level, but in the performance engineering side, when you get lots of experience, like you can able to see that. Okay, okay, so here we will see the load test, load of number of users. Okay, and the duration of the test and the objective. Okay, we will see this and also the comparison. Okay, yeah. So the load test, as I told you, it is for the expected load. Expected load. Say the customer is coming to you and asking, okay, test my application and my expected load is 1,000 users. So in that case, it will be 1,000 users. Okay. Okay. And for how many hours you will run this load test? It's a 1 hour load test. Okay. And what is the objective? Why we are running this test? Okay. So whether the application will withstand the expected load. 1 second, guys. Let me wrap. Okay. So the load test run for an hour with expected load in order to check whether the application is withstanding the expected load or not. If there is any issue, we will go and tell them, no, there is some issue with the application and you need to look into it. Okay, so coming to the stress test. Okay, so the same example we will take. Okay, so the Disney Hotstar. So during World Cup time, okay, or when new web series or when new popular hero movie release is happening, or when football World Cup match or IPL is uh, going on, right? You'll see very large number of people are going to use the application, maybe 2 times or 3 times more people are going to use the application, so the traffic is going to be really high that time, right? So in that case, from performance testing point of view, right, you need to understand how the application is going to behave with these many number of users, and we need to check um, whether it could withstand, the application could withstand these many people at a time. Okay, so uh, why we are doing this stress testing, how we will get the request. Okay, customer coming to you and they are saying, okay, now currently my application expected load is going to be 1,000 users, right? And in near future, like in another 6 months or in another 1 year, I'm expecting more number of users, more number of traffic to my application, and I need to check that as well. So in that case, after 6 months, we cannot again go and check the application, right? So what we will do, we will increase the number of users. Okay, and at the last minute we cannot do, right? So what we will do, we usually ask them whether we can proceed with like 150 percentage of the expected load, or 200 percentage of the expected load, can you proceed with it or not? So in this case, in this example, if 1,000 users we are going to use for the load test, right, we can proceed with 1.5x times, or 2 times of the expected load. Okay, right? So yeah, this is also a 1 hour load test, but the volume that you will achieve will be 2 times more than that of the expected load. So you will tell them if there is any issues, if the application could not withstand, if there is any app crash, or if the response time, page response time is going to be really more, then you will report it to the team that no, the load test with expected load it's working fine, but for the stress test it is not working fine. So you can inform them. Okay, so the objective is to check whether the application can withstand future expected load, or maybe like 1.5 times or 2x. Okay, okay, so so stress test point of view, right? We can do this test in either way. Okay, totally depends upon the customer requirement. Okay, if the customer is telling you like, okay, if you run with 2 times as that of the expected load, I'm fine with it. Okay, so some customer might ask you, okay, I need to know up to what point my application is going to withstand, at what point my application is going to crash. Okay, so that kind of information some customer might expect. So that time what you will do is, you will scale it here, you will scale the users little by little, and what you will do is, you keep on increasing. There is no time for this specific time, like we need to run it for an hour or something, like we don't have that restriction here, but we keep on increasing the user and running it for 15 minutes, and see at what point the application crash. Okay, so for here in an example, initially we start off with 50K and 100K users, and if you see here, right, sorry, If you see here, right, that 100k users are running for 15 minutes, and then increase to 200k users, and then those 200k users are running for like 15 minutes, and we keep on increasing. We keep on increasing the number of users until the app crash. Okay, this is another kind of testing, but we also people also call this testing as the scalability test. Okay, so the term differs. Okay, so stress testing, if the customer asks you to run for 2 times of that of the expected load, you can run. Or else if the team is asking you to find out where at what point, right, at what point the application is going to crash, right, to find out that is either called as stress test, or you can also call it as scalability test. Okay, so scalability test, you will keep increasing the users until the app crash. Okay, no definite time for it. uh, Runs until the app crash. Okay, this one why we are running, to see at what point application is crashing. Okay, clear. And then next is going to be your endurance test. Okay. Okay, so endurance test. So what is the difference between endurance test and the load test? It is same, the except for the duration. Okay, so load test, we are going to run it for an hour. Yes, endurance test. The endurance test, you are going to run it for like longer hours. For example, in marathon, if you are running for the longer hours, right? So in order to find out your body's endurance. So similarly, to find out the application's endurance, we will do endurance testing. Okay, so it is run for 1,000 users only. The load is going to be same for an hour, 1,000 users only, but you're going to run it for longer duration. Okay, like 4 hours, 8 hours, 24 hours, as per the recommendation from the customer. Some people, some team will say like, okay, no issues, 4 hours is enough, and some team will say no, I need to see 24 hours because my application is going to run continuously for 24/7, and I'm expecting the similar kind of people going to access my application round the clock. So in that case, we will run 24 hours. So in order to check if there is any memory issues, and if there is any app crash or happening uh, for the application, we will do endurance testing. Okay, so in the sheet, the endurance testing, so expected load, okay, 1,000 users only. Okay, and here this one is going to be 4 hours or 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, or even 24 hours. Okay, and this is to check if there is any memory issue. The objective of this to check if there is any memory issue. Okay. Okay, so this load test, stress test, and endurance test, these are the main tests that we perform for all the applications. So the load test and endurance test are similar except for the duration. They will run for longer hours, but your scenario and all is going to be the same. And stress test, you are going to run it with 2 times as that of your expected load to check whether the application is withstanding the future expected load. Okay, and then scalability test, if you keep increasing the users to find out at what point the application crash, So in order to test that, we will do scalability test. Okay. And then next is spike test. Okay. So for example, right? Yeah. For example, to check the application sudden burst, increase in the sudden burst, or increase or sudden burst of load or traffic. Okay, so how the application behaves at that time. So sudden traffic may be like, for example, if there is any sale going on in the e-commerce website, say the sale is going to be live for like 10-15 minutes, right? So what will happen? So the normal load will be there, right? And at that particular time, more people will be logging in and doing purchasing, right? So at that time, from 1,000 users, the users will increase till 5,000 users, and those users will be active. Those traffic will be there for 10 or 15 minutes maximum, and they are going to drop. They are going to come out of the application, right? After 10-15 minutes. So there is a sudden increase in the number of users using the application, sudden increase in the traffic, okay, and then it's going to drop suddenly. Okay, so in order to, if the application is expecting, if the customer is expecting this kind of sudden increase or sudden burst of the load in the future, they will obviously ask you, okay, we need a spike test. We are expecting this kind of scenario in the future for our application, so we need spike test. Okay, so so we will design a scenario to replicate in such a way that we will have the 1,000 users running for like 15-20 minutes, and then we will increase ramp up like 4,000 more users, and then those 5,000 users totally will be active for 10-15 minutes, and everyone will drop out after 10-15 minutes. Okay, so this is called spike test, right? So spike test here. Okay, sudden increase in peak load for 5 to 10 minutes and decrease. Okay, so what is the duration of the test? Is going to be 1 hour, same 1 hour. Okay, and then what you will validate. Okay, so the objective of this test is to validate application behavior due to sudden increase in the load. Okay, so the next step is volume test. So volume test is similar to the load test only, but there'll be 2 or 3 times um, more data will get loaded in the database. Okay, so what will happen is, if the customer is going to say, okay, my production, so usually performance test we will run it, and they usually have the same data, like same or mimic data uh, like production. Okay, so production, how much capacity, how much data they have loaded, they will provide us the same in order to that is how performance testing will be done. Okay, so if they are going to they are expecting more number of data, right, in the database in the future, so what they will do, they will load more data in the database, like 2 times 3 times more data in the database, and then they will ask us to test. So this is going to be similar to the load test only, but at the back end, from server side, right, they are going to load more data. Okay, so volume test, so expected load is going to be the same. and this one is also going to be the same. The objective of the test is to validate whether the application could perform well. Application to validate whether the application performance with 2 times or 3 times database volume. Okay. So this is volume test. Okay. Failover test. Failover test is nothing but like for example, I'm just telling you on a high level, but later if we after going into the architecture part and all, then I will explain you again this, because only if you know about the architecture you can able to understand. So I'll just let you know on the higher level part. Okay, so expected load for this failover test is also the same. Okay, and the duration is also going to be the same. Okay, but the thing is to validate whether the application could perform well even when one or two servers are down. So in any application, right? In any application architecture, we have app servers, web servers, and a database servers. Okay, and there are two or more servers will be there. So if if one of the server comes down in the production. So whether the application could withstand or perform well in the same way with the remaining two servers. So the customers comes to you and ask you, okay, I need this kind of testing, and you can, yes, you can do. You what you need to do is you, during the test, right? You have to bring down, forcefully bring down the server and check if there are any failures or if there is any crash happening, or if the application is performing well. Okay, in order to check this, we will do failover test. Okay, and the smoke test is nothing but the test validation check, you can say, before running any of these tests. Okay, so once the script is ready and once your scenario is ready in the controller, right? So we will check with less number of users. It will be like around 10 to 15 minutes. You can run it for 10 to 15, just to make sure you're not going to share this test results with the team at all. It's just for your validation. You'll just check whether my scripts are working fine. When I'm running it in LRE or controller, is it creating any issue, or is there any transaction failing if I'm running all the script together? So all kind of these validation, right, you can do through smoke test. So it's always advisable to do the smoke test before triggering any of the test. Okay, so it's just for our validation. It's just to validate the scripts uh, before running the actual test. Okay, right. So any doubts till now? These are the different type of tests that we do. The mandatory test that we perform for all the application is load test, stress test, and endurance test. I'm just summarizing, guys. Okay, so load test will be run for expected load, like 1,000 users say, and if the stress test is going to perform, you will always run it for like 1.5 times or 2 times. say in this case like 2000 users. Okay, and both the duration is going to be 1 hour, right? And the endurance test, this with the same expected load, 1000 users per hour. We will run it for a longer duration to check the endurance of the application. And also if there is any memory issues, right, we can easily able to find it out. And scalability test, if we need to find out the point at where the application is going to crash, right? So after this test, we can tell them, okay, no, up to like 5,000, 6,000 users only the application is withstanding. Okay, so after that, the application crashed. Okay, so if you tell this input to the customer, okay, they will work on it. They will work on their configuration and stuff, and they will get back to us for another test. Okay, so so finding the break point, okay, break point of it, you can um, you can do scalability testing. So spike test is nothing but to validate the application if there is any sudden burst of load, right, or traffic for like 5-10 minutes. So we mimic the scenario and we'll do spike test. Okay, so volume test, the database volume will be like 2 times, 3 times, and we will do other stuffs are same. Like we will do the expected load, and the duration is going to be 1 hour, similar to the load test, but at the back end the database volume is going to be really large. Okay, failover test, if you will bring down one server and you will check whether the application is performing in the similar way. Okay. So this is the summarize of all the tests. So the load test, if you see this orange color, right, load test, the normal load, okay, and the endurance test will be run for like longer hours, and this one green color, and the stress test, double the volume, okay, and the spike test, sudden increase and drop of the users, and then this one breakpoint test is nothing but a scalability test, okay, to find out the breakpoint. So any doubts till now, guys? Please feel free to ask me.
No, uh, I'm clear. Just that I wanted to know volume testing. So you said it's
Mhm.
like just the backend volume would be large. So that's the only criteria for volume
Yes.
testing, or
Yes, they will load more volume. So, for example, right, if you're launching the application and if you're searching something, and you're seeing some 500 records or 1,000 records in the same page for the search. Okay, that is the expected one. Okay, during the volume testing, what they will load more data at the back end. So if you do the same search, you will see like 2,000, 3,000 records, right? Obviously, it is going to affect your front end, right? Your front end UI, your page loading time. So there is a
yeah, yeah,
relation
correct.
between the data load and the backend. So in order to check that, we'll do volume.
Okay, yeah. And sorry, I didn't get
Yes,
your
ma'am.
name.
I'm Kritika.
Your good name? Okay, okay, Kritika. Yeah,
Kritika.
thank you. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Thank you. So any other questions, guys? Are you all good? Clear? Okay. So yeah, we will proceed with installation. Okay, so how to install and all. So I have my drive here where there is a folder. So this folder, I will give you an access for this once you join the course. So whatever scripts that we are practicing, whatever software we are using, right? Everything I will save it here, so you can also have access and access these documents, scripting, scenario, everything you can have access here. Okay. So here I'll provide this drive details to you. So in this drive details, we go LoadRunner artifacts. You will see a software folder. Okay, and then you will see Micro Focus LoadRunner. Okay, so I'll just search for you. I've uninstalled it actually. So virtual user generator I don't have. controller I don't have. Okay, and then analysis I don't have. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, right, you just need to download it. Since I have already downloaded it, right, I will show you. Okay, I have downloaded it. Okay, so here Microsoft Micro Focus LoadRunner, this community edition is there, right? You just need to right click, run as administrator. Okay, you will see this pop-up. Okay, so just click on to next. Okay, so then you need to click on OK. Okay, just let it be the default value. Just click next. Okay, here you need to select I accept the terms and conditions, and then you need to click on next, give next, click on to install option. It's going to take little time. Okay, so by the time, right, we will discuss few questions here, which I got it from in the private chat, and the rest of the stuff it's a frequently asked questions. Okay, I'll just read out the all the questions. I'll try to answer everything. Okay, so parallelly we will also have this installation process going on. Okay, so the first question will be like, I'm currently working as a manual tester and trying to move to performance testing project. Is this course good to me? Yes, I would definitely say yes, because one thing is you're already a manual tester, so you know about how the testing project works and what is web application, defects, development life cycles, everything, right? So this course is basically for beginner or intermediate level professionals. So if you listen to the class and practice at least once whatever you have learned, right, it will be really very useful for you. Okay, so and the second question is it mandatory to learn APM tool to work in that performance testing project? Okay, it's not mandatory, okay, but it's good to have that knowledge. And it's a monitoring tool, and it's not a rocket science as well. So not even difficult when compared to LoadRunner scripting. Okay, so you just need to know what to see, what to see. That's it. So you will learn. You will be able to learn what to monitor through this course. Okay. And the next question is, how we can do parameterization and correlation practically. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I'll teach parameterization and correlation practically. Hello.
Yeah, hi. You were saying something?
Yeah, can you able to hear me, guys?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. But for the last 2 minutes, we just lost you. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. So there is some disconnection. So yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
So what
yeah.
was? Yeah, yes, you are audible. Can you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, the next question is yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. So while we do functional testing, we used to capture load time in developer tool and report it to one second. Report it to if the report if the response time is high. Is this enough? Okay, good question. Okay, so let me open a sample application. Okay, I will open it. Mm, okay, let me open the developer tool as well. Okay, so developer tool will have, if I click on this, right, in the network tab, you will see all the it's coming up here. Okay. Okay. You're seeing all the requests which page sends to the server, right? These are the requests. So in the below, right, you will see the load time. So what is the load time here? So which is nothing but the time taken for the page to load, right? So this load time is only for my browser and this is only for the single user. Okay, only one user I am accessing the application and I am taking, it is taking 2 seconds, 2.6 seconds to access this particular launch, right? So in performance testing, right, we need to test it with 500,000 users. So which means we cannot just go with one user response time, what you get in the developer tool. So that's the reason we use the tools like LoadRunner or Gmail. Okay. Yeah, we will see what's the status for the installation. It's still going on. Okay, we will proceed with uh, next question. Uh, okay. 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 So typically we run it for many hours. About hour by default 8 hours. But So how about now? Can you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you now. Again, 2 seconds we lost you.
Yeah, no, there is some issue. Okay. So yes, so here, right, you just need to check this out, okay, in this dialog box and then proceed with next. Yes, just finish. That's it. So if you have any other questions, guys, you can just ask me. We will have a question and answer section until this. It is going to take like a few minutes.
Um, I don't have questions on today's session. I'm actually
Okay.
a performance tester on. I'm on a JMeter, so I just wanted to learn LoadRunner because I've got a project right now on LoadRunner. So I wanted to learn LoadRunner and
Okay,
AppDynamics.
great.
So right now I have
Okay.
a doubt in LoadRunner, just that the cookie, it's getting generated just in the
Mm-hmm.
request header. I'm not able to find that in the response. So if it's not appropriate to ask about the correlation today, I'll ask on the day that you are going to take about correlation and parameterization and the scripting. Or we can connect offline and
Okay.
can you just help me on that?
Yeah, yeah. You can call me in the
Hmm.
WhatsApp and we will connect offline. Yeah.
Sure. So in the same group, your number is there.
Yes, yes. My number is there in the
Sure.
same group.
Sure, sure. Okay, Kritika.
Okay.
That's it.
Great.
So
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
today's
thank
session.
you.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is the last step. Once this is completed, it should get installed. So we'll wait for like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so it's done. So if you want to restart, you can restart, and then, or you can give restart later, give finish. Okay, so now if you go and search the virtual user generator, you can able to see, you can just open it, and the controller, you could able to see here, right? And then analysis, all the three components you will able to see once after this installation. Okay, so yes guys, that's all about today's session. Okay, so for course enrollment and other stuffs, please reach out to Kumar sir, and this is his contact number. Okay, yeah, if you have any questions regarding course and other stuffs, please ping me in WhatsApp. I could able to help you. Yeah, thank you so much guys, thank you all.